This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Tuesday today, which means we're doing a top 5 list. You already know what we're talking about today because you've seen the video title and the thumbnail, so let's not waste too much time with the preamble. Basically, I always say that I got into rock music in the late 70s when rock bands started appearing a lot more on shows like Top of the Pops. I still remember the first time I saw the video for Rainbow's Since You've Been Gone, for example, and it was that when I started kind of taking more of an interest in music that had crunchy, overdriven guitar sounds on it, and you know, that kind of thing. But truth be told, it just occurred to me the other day that there is one band who I think you can legitimately call a rock band, that were on Top of the Pops all of the time, in the top 40 all of the time, getting airplay when bands like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Black Sabbath weren't getting airplay on sort of mainstream top 40 radio. I'm of course talking about the great British institution that is Status Quo. I know they're not a big band outside of my home country, the UK, so I'm going to put some links in the description to all of the tracks I'm talking about here. This is very much the band who got me into rock music, if I'm honest about it. And today I'm going to tell you about my 5 favourite Status Quo songs, starting with
Down, Down.
Yes, from 1975's On the Level album, a fantastic, just foot-stomping, kind of head-banging tune. I'm probably going to use the words foot-stomping, head-banging quite a lot in this video. One criticism that Status Quo often get levelled at them is that, you know, they are a bit formulaic. They've all, you know, all of the songs have a very similar vibe to them. And that's true, but, you know, it's... I'm reminded of a quote, not by a member of Status Quo, but by Angus Young, when some journalist said, what do you say to the criticism that you've released 12 albums and they've all sounded exactly the same? And Angus came back with, he says, that's absolute rubbish. We've released 13 albums and they've all sounded exactly the same. You can say the same sort of thing about Status Quo, but this is just a fantastic tune, you know, just... good crunchy Telecaster guitar sounds, open G tuning riff. I think this was probably the first riff that I ever learned in open G. Most people will tell you about some Rolling Stones song that they first discovered open G tuning for, but open G, capo at the 4th fret, and you can really let rip with this. You know, it's just one of my favourite tunes by this band, and that's why it's on the list. Next.
Rockin' All Over the World.
Yeah, I think the original studio version of this came out in 1976. It's a cover of a John Fogerty song. You know, after CCR had split, he did this, and it just, for whatever reason, it just didn't ever become one of his, you know, iconic big hits. But Status Quo, the lads... had a listen to it, liked it, and did their own version. And for me, the definitive version is the one which appears on 1982's Live at the NEC album. That album sort of came out in 1982. It was part of a box set from the makers of, it was called, which came out in 82, and then it was released in 84 as a standalone album. But this is just the band at the peak of their powers in that sort of early 80s, late 70s to early 80s kind of period. They are still going now, albeit with only one original member, Francis Rossi, left. You know, sadly, the other half of the guitar partnership, Rick Parfitt, died several years ago. I think he was one of the ones who succumbed in that, when was it, 2016, when we seemed to lose a lot of rock stars, round about the same time as David Bowie and Lemmy and that kind of very dark period. But yes, this Live at the NEC album, if this band is new to you, if you are curious about them and you are, as I say, they're not a big band outside the UK, if they are, kind of an unopened book for you and you want a sort of definitive sampler album, then check this album out, because it's got many of their most famous hits on it, and the definitive versions of those hits tend to be on this album, including Rockin' All Over the World. No coincidence that this was the song that was the opening number at Live Aid. I mean, what else? It's just written for it, isn't it? So there you go, Rockin' All Over the World, the live version, had to be on the list. Next,
Something About You, Baby, I Like.
a cover of an old Tom Jones song, and my mother, bless her, she was quite the Tom Jones fangirl. She was, she used to, she had all of his LPs, and two artists that my mother was fanatical about. One was Tom Jones, the other was Liberace. That's why whenever I'm talking about any overly ornate guitar, Liberace is the first reference that comes to mind. But yeah, she used to love Tom Jones, and I'd heard this song growing up all the time. And then suddenly, it was on, does anyone remember in the UK an old Chris Tarrant late night TV show called OTT? It was like a sort of adult version of a kids TV show called Tiswas. And Status Quo appeared, just miming, obviously lip syncing, in the studio doing this, and I thought, wow, that's very different to the version of that song that I'm familiar with, and it works. It's just a fantastic, I suppose it's a reflection of, a good song should be able to take any kind of treatment. I'm not saying that Something About You, Baby, I Like is some kind of musical masterpiece, but the Core do a really good version of it, so it's well worth checking out. As I said, links are all in the description, so go and check that one out. If you're familiar with the Tom Jones version, this one might make you smile. Next,
Caroline.
another one from the Live at the NEC album, the opener from that set. Caroline, just, I'm going to say it again, foot stomping, head banging, boogie rock and roll. The riff on this, it's just relentless. It pummels you into submission. It's just, You can't listen to this music and not have a big grin on your face. I'm smiling now just thinking about it. If you like good, honest-to-goodness, boogie 12-bar rock and roll music played with verve, enthusiasm, and a degree of grit and swagger, you got to listen to this. It's fantastic. And as I say, no way this couldn't have been on the list. Next,
Bye Bye Johnny.
another one from the On the Level album, Bye Bye Johnny, written by Chuck Berry. I think he released his version in 1960. Very much a sequel to, Johnny Be Good. It tells the story of Johnny Be Good going off to Hollywood to make some motion pictures and become. I wonder who Chuck was thinking about. A rock and roll star who ended up working the movies. Who could he have meant? Anyway, Status Quo did do a live version of this, once again on the Live at the NEC album, and I could have chosen that one, but I think this is one of those rare examples where I'm not going to say the studio version is better, because it isn't. The sort of crowd participation in the live version, I think, edges it, but I didn't want to choose too many tracks off that one album, and the studio version is, I would say, as good as the in a different way as the as the live version. It's one of those studio versions of a song that you can tell the band were all in the same room together, making eye contact and rocking out. It's just, you can feel the vibe. I often talk about this when I'm describing music that I like. There's that moment when the musicians involved are all kind of, everything's kind of motoring along and gelling together, and they're kind of making the eye contact, feeling the vibe, and they just get, this is really kind of delivering the goods, and that they raise the game just that little bit. I detect that on this song. I just, it's just a great little sequel to a very, very well-known song, and I don't think many people know about it. I didn't hear the Chuck Berry version until years after I became familiar with the Status Quo version. So there you go, folks. Those are my top 5 picks from Status Quo, the band that in all likelihood probably got me into rock music in the first place, long before I was hearing things like Living After Midnight and Since You've Been Gone, and what's another one? I often credit Black Sabbath's Never Say Die as being one of those tunes that sort of got me listening to rock music. But truth be told, you know, when you're kind of listening to the radio as a kid and, you know, watching Top of the Pops and everything, then if you're exposed to Status Quo, then that's sort of the gateway drug, isn't it? And that is the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed my little trip down memory lane, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about stuff. It's often music and guitars, and often it isn't. It can go absolutely anywhere, and often does. It is, however, a fantastic, great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.